Lookman, Retegui, De Ketelare. Atalanta have a scary looking team, all those talented players being managed by an equally talented coach in Gasperini. They have been shining in both the Serie A and Champions League while playing some incredible football. With them being in such good form, how come they aren't getting as much attention as other teams? Gasperini's appointment as Atalanta's head coach in June of 2016 marked a transformative era for the club. He elevated them from mid-table obscurity to consistent contenders in both domestic and European competitions. Prior to Gasperini's arrival, Atalanta was primarily focused on just staying up in the Serie A, often finishing in the lower half of the table. The club's main objective was to avoid relegation with very limited participation in European tournaments. The beginning of Gasperini's tenure was actually quite shaky. After only 3 points in 5 matches, he was on the verge of being sacked. However, thanks to the integration of some youth players in the team, among them being midfielders Roberto Gagliardini and Frank Kessie, and defenders Matteo Caldara and Andrea Conti, Atalanta began to get results. It was a bold move from Gasperini. He was essentially putting the faith of his job in the hands of untested players, especially since the first time he tested the players and a new formation was against Napoli, a side who at the time were the only undefeated team left in Italy. Ever since that moment though, the club's performances steadily improved throughout the season. They beat Inter and Roma, then beat Napoli 2-0. Thanks to Gasperini, the club was outperforming what people expected of him given the talent. For example, Gasperini had converted 21-year-old Juventus loanee Leonardo Spinazzola from an average winger into a fine fullback. That season was really the turning point in Atalanta's history. It laid the groundwork for what they would go on to achieve in later seasons. In the 2018-2019 season, the club achieved unprecedented success. Gasperini began to implement his aggressive high-pressing 3-4-1-2 formation more, emphasizing fluid attacking play and being really solid defensively. It allowed Atalanta to dominate possession and create a number of goal-scoring opportunities. That playstyle secured them a third-place finish in Serie A, their highest league finish at the time. They had the most prolific attack in the league, scoring 77 goals. Gasperini's team was a nightmare to play against, as seen from their 4-1 win against Inter Milan. They performed the best while being underdogs. Just look at their win against Juventus in the quarterfinals of the Coppa Italia. A commanding 3-0 win over one of the most dominant teams in Italian history. In the next round, they beat Fiorentina to make it to the final. Although they did end up losing in the final to Lazio, they had shown that they were a formidable force in Italian football. The third place league finish also qualified Atalanta for the Champions League for the first time in the club's history, marking a significant milestone and really elevating their name and status within European football. Zapata finished as the team's top scorer with 23 league goals. Papu Gomez, serving as the captain, provided the leadership and creativity, contributing 7 goals and 11 assists in the Serie A. Then you had Josip Ilicic. The Slovenian midfielder added 12 goals and 7 assists while playing a pivotal role in the team's attack. In the present day, you're seeing a similar level of quality and output from Retegui, Lookman, and De Ketelare. In the 2020 season, Gasperini's men continued marching forward. They finished third again, showing that the previous season was no fluke, as they accumulated 78 points, surpassing what they got in the previous season. The team was even better going forward. They set a club record by scoring 98 goals in the league, the highest tally by any Serie A side at the time in 70 years. In the Champions League, they did struggle in the beginning. They lost 3 consecutive games in the group stages. Yet despite the poor start, Atalanta secured a 1-1 draw against Manchester City and then got wins over Dinamo Zagreb and Shakhtar Donetsk, becoming only the second club to advance to the knockout stage after losing their first 3 matches. That good form continued into the knockout rounds, where in the round of 16, Atalanta defeated Valencia with an 8-4 aggregate score. Ilicic was huge in this game. He scored all 4 goals in the 4-3 second leg win. In the quarterfinals, Atalanta faced PSG. Despite leading 1-0 until the 90th minute, they conceded 2 late goals, ending up losing 2-1. It was a disappointing loss given the context. The team was so good going forward. Ilicic was the team's top goal scorer with 21 goals across all competitions, 5 of them coming in the Champions League. Zapata and Muriel, both Colombian strikers, netted 18 league goals each. That season really solidified Atalanta's reputation as a dominant attacking force in both Italian and European football. Since that season, Atalanta has continued with the same attacking philosophy, and they have been one of Italy's strongest teams. The 2021 season, they once again finished third, qualified for the Champions League, and made it to yet another Coppa Italia final. In the 2022 season, they did face a setback, finishing 8th and missing out on European qualification for the first time under Gasperini. It goes to show how much the team has progressed, that now finishing 8th and reaching the Europa League quarterfinals was seen as a bad year. They had come a long way from being a side just trying to avoid relegation in 2017. As usual though, Atalanta bounced back after a down year, finishing 5th in the 2023 season. In fact, the current version of Atalanta might be their best version. After multiple losses in finals, Gasperini was finally able to win some silverware when Atalanta won their first ever major European trophy, defeating Bayer Leverkusen in the Europa League final. I don't think people realize how important of a win this was. Leverkusen were the most informed team in the world. They were on track to win a treble undefeated, yet Gasperini completely outcoached Alonso in the final. Lookman scored a hat-trick, finishing off an impressive season in style, while Koopmeiners was the engine that kept the midfield ticking. Gasperini has still maintained his signature 3-4-3 formation, which emphasizes high pressing and fluid attacking play. He has become more tactically flexible though. The formation can adapt to a 3-4-1-2 or even a 3-4-2-1, depending on who they're playing. That adaptability is actually one of the biggest reasons that Atalanta is able to be competitive across multiple different competitions. Defensively, they like to press teams man to man. It's quite risky as it requires players to excel in 1v1 situations. It's a great way of disrupting your opponent's play, but it demands high physical and mental discipline from the players. Going forward, Gasperini encourages his wingbacks to push forward, to create width and overload the flanks. The midfielders are then tasked with quick transition and to support the front three. This is why they score so many goals. It's also what makes Atalanta's play so unpredictable and difficult to defend against. Leverkusen found this out the hard way. Retegui is leading the scoring charts as he spearheads the attack. As the central striker in the 3-4-1-2, his job is to finish off the attacks, and he's doing it as well as he possibly can. Of course, it helps having a player as dynamic and electric as Lookman next to you. The Nigerian got 7 goals in his first 10 league matches. He exploits the spaces between the lines, linking the midfield and attack effectively. Just look at how he got his goals against Napoli in Atalanta's 3-0 win. De Catalare functions as an advanced playmaker. He orchestrates the attack and provides the key passes that are needed. His technical quality and vision allow him to support both Retegui and Lookman, creating a very dynamic offensive trio. Then behind those guys you have Darun, who contributes defensively and going forward. His experience, work rate, and tactical awareness are vital in maintaining the balance in the team. From the 2021 season to now, Atalanta has experienced sustained growth and success. Under Gasperini and his innovative tactics, the club has solidified its position as a competitive force in both Italian and European football. They are a great side, and you have to watch them play whenever they're on TV. If you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you'll love this one as well. Check it out right here.